Well, I figured I should probably finish this out here. So here is going to be the last of the folding knives for TwoSun that I have currently. I still have like 5 or 7 or possibly 8 that are coming in that I don't have yet, but that will kind of conclude that. This is a big dog here. This is the 311-CF, and this is a thumb stud only opener, and no knurling on there. Kind of wish there was, but it still works out quite well. This is a factory stonewash. Night Morning 14C28N. Doesn't have a name to my knowledge, but I want to call it the Opulence because it is just excessive in basically every way, shape, and form, and I really do like this knife quite a bit. The pocket clip is a little bit longer than Night Morning usually does on some stuff, and actually has a hole in there. Yeah, it's just a fantastic knife. I like this thing quite a bit. Really nice action on it too. Now, this one, the 312. This one is quite interesting in that this material is micarta, but it is very highly compressed and has a very different and interesting feel to it. Almost feels a little bit more like G10 than micarta, but yeah, it definitely is. You can see some fuzz and stuff like that around there. Yeah, we have a very, very slight hawk bill sort of thing going on here with this one. But we also have these thumb wing kind of things. Yeah, they're orange. I don't know. TwoSun has a thing with orange G10 for things, so they've kind of put that there. But it also has a flipper tab, which is pretty darn fantastic. Overall, this is about a 3.5 finger, I suppose, but that last finger is kind of supporting there on the back. It does have a finger choil up there. It feels just a little tiny bit small for me, but normal size hands should be perfectly fine with that one. Really want to see them do a little bit more with this micarta material. That would be quite nice. Alright, speaking of flagships that I've mentioned before, this is the TS313. This is their first button lock. And this also has multi-row bearings on there, which is just fantastic. This thing does have a little bit of a strangeness in that the tip is slightly accessible when it's closed because this doesn't go up all the way. It's generally not that big of a deal, but you know, if you do have a problem, you can certainly sharpen that out or whatnot. Otherwise, though, this thing is a lot of fun to play with. I'm not the hugest fan of the thumb studs. They certainly work, but yeah, it's a really strange design, and I would still prefer to have some knurling on the sides of them. This one, like their flat thumb stud sort of things, it's designed a little bit more to put your thumb on top and push out. But hey, you also have the excellent action from the plunge lock on there. This thing is pretty darn cool. I actually got this for a really good price, which is great. I have seen it go for, I don't know, $250 or something like that, which for that price, I probably wouldn't go for it. But hey, for the price I did, I was happy. So there's that. We have the TS314. That was by Night Morning, by the way, in case you weren't aware. M390 on that one. This one is also Night Morning. You got that deep carry pocket clip. Very much small comparatively. And this is kind of a creamish color G10 with quite a bit of milling sort of going on there. And you can flip that guy out. And yeah, it's just a little jobber right there. It's basically a 2.5 finger knife if I'm back there, or a 3 and a little bit possibly kind of knife there if you use that sharpening or that that finger choil. I remember when these first came out and they were a bit too expensive for what it is, but yeah, for a decent price there is definitely that. Next up, I got my TS316 from Long, and this thing is absolutely fantastic. This one's purple from the factory. I have seen them do a couple in green so far as well. This is a thumb stud. This is factory stonewash. Happy to see that. 14C28N. Very worn, cliffy blade. Very neutral, yet really, really comfortable handle. I really do like this a lot. And the little hexagon pattern milling on the titanium there. Pretty nice. And that pocket clip actually works a treat. It's quite nice. Okay, so next up we have this guy, Kerchunk, and this is a sheep's foot night morning design. 14C28N. This is the TS318. I actually don't have a label on there at the moment. That's alright. This thing, for what it's worth, does have multi-row bearings on there, but regardless, so it doesn't have like the absolute most amazing action out of anything I've ever felt. Nothing super wrong about it, just kind of a smaller blade. We do actually have knurling on the side on these thumb studs, so that's nice. They are a little pointy on top, so you do have to keep that in mind. But it does a pretty good job of having that 3-finger there and the 4th for a nice stability sort of thing. You got that standard size finger choil there. But you also have that dip up there if you want to get your index finger going on for any of your utility cuts and whatnot. Yeah, this thing is quite wild. Also, we can see the back here has different sized pins for it instead of barrel spacers. Well, it still does have one barrel spacer there in the back. And it's kind of interesting, but yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, it'll jiggle just a little tiny bit. This is another one with those 3 grooves for the lock bar relief on there. Pretty interesting. Okay, the TS319-CF. This is a CM design, as you might or might not be able to see on there. I've done the stonewashing aftermarket on this, but this one was incredibly deep on the satin finish on here. So even when I did my normal stonewashing kind of thing, it had some stonewashing look to it. But depending on how the light hit it, you still saw that satin, and you still actually felt it when you were opening and closing the knife due to where it was accessing the lock bar there. So that's why it's a little more restricted in what you can actually see from the initial laser branding on there. And that had to do with some rock tumbling that I ended up doing to try to get a matte finish on here before I did the stonewashing. But yes, regardless of all of that nonsense, this is a 14C28N. Itty bitty little pocket clip. This is not my favorite pocket clip in the world. Very small thing, and very close to the end. This thing's actually a little difficult to get into your pocket. Obviously not getting out, but, you know, getting in there is just a little bit difficult. Well, the blade's all nice and tidy in there, and you can spidey flick the thing out. For me, it's a 3-finger knife, but it's got that standard size finger choil there. You can choke up if you want to get a little bit more. This kind of design in general, CM Design has done another one with Kubi that's fairly similar, and I think they have another one coming out, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. Yes, the TS321. I guess dash red, but I haven't seen it in anything else. This has some interesting construction, and I've kind of taken a look at that in a first look here. For one, we have basically 2 pieces of G10. The scales there also act as the back spacer for it, and it does a pretty good job. It's just a little bit of a gap up there, but that's perfectly fine. Blade is nice and hidden in there. You can open that blade up. This is a night morning design, 14C28N. We have nested liners in here, so that keeps it a little bit thinner than it otherwise would be. This also has multi-row bearings on it. And yeah, this thing usually does not cost a whole lot. You can see that I have scratched this up a little bit more than when it would normally be, but I haven't really done any modifications to it. Just played around with it and cutting stuff for quite a bit. It's very, very comfortable for a full 4-finger grip, and it also does have a bit of a generous finger choil there if you want to get a little bit more up there. Very gradual clip / drop point sort of thing. It's quite nice for a budget offering, I do have to say. Okay, next up we got the TS323. This is a front flipper, and it's got a really love it or hate it blade to it. This is a factory stonewash. It's by D. Antimonov. It's in 14C28N. And this is one of the best tuned and funnest front flippers I've really had from TwoSun. This thing is just a joy to play around with. It's really nice and fidget friendly. Very, very nice drop shutty action going on with it too. And I do happen to like this blade shape. It does a lot for cardboard and other EDC sort of things. It's got some belly up here for kind of powering through some of those thicker cardboard sort of things. It's got a little bit of that hawkbill there, so you can hook it in there to open up your packages and all that sort of stuff. Really nice, generous finger choil. I absolutely love this, but I certainly can see why some people not super keen on a very untraditional blade shape going on there. Speaking of untraditional, we got this guy in the Murica G10. And yeah, this is a really strange looking recurve Tonto. Oh, I don't remember the guy's name off the top of my head who designed this. Something Brown, maybe? Obviously not Tom Brown, but Cody Brown, I think that was it. Yeah, this one's in D2. I have to say that personally, I'm not a fan of the ergonomics on this handle at all. I don't know why he would have the exposed liner down there rather than having the G10 follow that. So you have those two things sticking out that your pinky is always resting on. You have the pointy bits back there. So it does have some design things that I'm not super crazy about. That and this thing is probably going to be a challenge for you know, novice people to attempt to sharpen. So there is definitely that. I do have to give credit where credit's due. The blade is definitely protected in there, and the flipper tab works really well. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is definitely a budget offering. Probably not one I would spend a whole lot of money on, but hey, you are probably different than I am. Here's one that's super, super new, the TS322 and M390. Don't know if they have any plans to do this in anything else. But yeah, this one is from, oh, it was Prashanta something or other Roy. This is a Indian developer, or at least the name eludes that to me. M390, very worn, cliffy sort of thing going on there. And this definitely reaches that under an ounce an inch metric, which is still impressive when you actually look at the thickness of the blade stock on this. They've done a lot of interesting things here, and it actually is quite comfortable. I'm still not a huge fan of thumb discs in general, and this one has that. And that's about the only way you can deploy it, but a lot of the blade is there, so you can, yep, you can spidey flick that, or If you're not super confident in that, you can just start to open the blade and rotate it out the rest of the way. It's a pretty interesting one. Very, very nice and light. So I like all of that. Alright, now we have the TS325, and this is a weird one. This is from Night Morning Design. And, yeah, it's Persian-esque, I suppose. It's got a trailing point sort of thing going on there. This is in 14C28N. It's factory stonewash, so I do like that. We have a nested steel liner inside this titanium scales, essentially. So this isn't technically a frame lock, but, you know, it's probably just as strong. So there you go. Interesting pocket clip. It does have kind of a small button sort of area there that's also a little bit in the groove. This one's a little difficult to get into your pocket, but that's all right. As far as the ergonomics, though, I can get this to be a full 4-finger grip knife with the finger choil there. And you can also kind of grab it back there. At that point, it's a 3-finger knife for me, but it does actually feel quite locked in when you have that there as well. You're just a bit further away from the blade. However, when this thing is open, to me, it kind of resembles a dog doing its business in the morning, if you kind of get my drift there. Not exactly my favorite shape for a knife, but very interesting and different and out there, and I do appreciate that on some designs. And the last of the standard folders that I have, this is the TS328. This is another collaboration with Tepe Designs and Night Morning, even though I'm not seeing Night Morning on the blade there, but I do believe that they are accredited, at least on the eBay listings for it as well, as a collaboration. This one, not nearly as highly textured as the TS177 Maverick. So it's a little bit easier on your hands, I suppose. But this thing is also a nested steel liner with titanium scales. So this isn't a frame lock, but it's a much more straightforward and comfortable neutral handle and blade design rather than the very swoopy nature of the 177 Maverick. This guy is an M390, and this one in particular is the worst example of M390 I have gotten. It's pretty darn bad. Obviously, it's, you know, part of the whole M390 lottery that I've mentioned in some of my other videos. And this one, I definitely didn't get a winner, so that's a little unfortunate. I still do like the knife shape and all that sort of stuff. And it's not like the blade doesn't function, it just doesn't hold an edge anywhere near as long as it should. Somewhere maybe around like 9CR18 MOV or 440C kind of levels, which you tend to want a little bit more than that out of M390. So, hey, there you go with that. Yeah, I got some other odds and ends in this drawer as well. This is a Suiryuu design, little key lanyard, door pull, elevator push button sort of thing. I have one here as well. This is this is also a Suiryuu design. This one I think is a little bit more comfortable, but a little bit more confusing in its overall nature, I suppose. Hey, they're neat and they're very, very much not expensive. Okay, this is a piece of titanium that has a razor blade installed in it. But because this is a Mazwan Mokhtar design, these things go for way too freaking much. Yeah, the action on trying to get the blade to get out to any particular one that you want, not super great on it, but it is basically a titanium pry bar that also has that kind of blade in there. Interesting idea. And I also have this one. This is from Night Morning. It's another one of those. This one has a push button up here, and then you can push a razor blade out there. This one's, I don't know, titanium coated something or other. I don't think it was the stock one that came with it, because I bought this one used from somebody. But hey, there you go. You also have different wrench steppings there. I think that one is probably designed for oxygen tanks or something like that. You got your pry bar, a Phillips 1 size kind of thing going on there. It's pretty interesting. Not something I generally will end up carrying on me, but still quite interesting. But since this is only 20 minutes, and the rest of the videos in this series have been that a little bit longer than that, I will finish this one up with the TwoSun fixed blades that I have. And I will go ahead and do these in numero order as well. Let my camera stop jiggling since I kicked the desk there. Alright, this is the TS92. We have just a simple little plastic sheath. I don't really think it's Kydex, but yeah, still very robust. We got a micarta handle on here, and hammer finish kind of thing going on. This is an S90V blade on here. This is basically 2.5 finger sort of thing going on there. Like a very, very tiny chef's knife kind of shape going on there. But still pretty darn useful overall. This is a TwoSun in-house design, so they don't really have another designer attributed to it. Next up, we have the TS150, and I have two flavors of it here. I have this one, which is absolutely gorgeous, in snakewood, and this is using kind of their newer form of Damascus steel on there, so you can feel a lot of the ridges. It's not just Damascus clad, it's a little bit deeper and everything than that, so that's great. And then we have this guy, which... yeah, okay, cool. I've loosened it up a little bit. This one is in S90V, and this one's black G10, but they also do it in orange G10 as well. Same exact dimensions and pocket clip and everything else about it. Pretty neat little guy. Let's see, sticking with Wong, we have the next one, and we've jumped up numbers quite a bit, the TS347. And I love this damn thing. This is a Wong design and M390. We got some micarta handles going on here. It's kind of their meh carta, but that's alright. This thing is amazingly comfortable for a little 3-finger knife there. And we do have some nice blade geometry going on there. And I do like that it is a little bit longer than the other one, so it's just a little bit better for, you know, tasks that might require just a little bit more. And, you know, I do like that nice drop thing there, so you can cut down onto a board or something like that. This one you can kind of connect as connect a little bead chain to it to use as a neck knife, which is probably what I would end up doing with it, but you do need to remove the pocket clip, as that's kind of covering that up. Next up, we have the TS365 Puffer. Now, this is Mazwan Mokhtar design, as we can see here. Factory stonewashed. This one's 14C28N, so not the super high-end steels that a lot of their other fixed blades tend to have going on there. This one's quite a bit larger. It's still not a large knife, but it is a little over 3 inches. And this one also is like a 3-finger knife, but you're also very nicely locked in there with that on the back end. Super nice and comfortable. I do like that blade shape as well. It's a little tall, I think, for kind of that whole size factor. I do think in general that works out just a little bit better, but this is certainly a little bit more of a harder use knife than that one was. This one is interesting because it comes with their kind of take on a tech lock. This one in particular, you flip this guy down and then you can squeeze those in, come up, and then yeah, it's got all of that sort of stuff. You can change the different sized belt sort of thing that you want to have on there, and I do believe you can. I don't know. I completely lost my train of thought on that. I don't think you can turn it, but that's okay. Something to note on this is that this tech lock thing in particular, and it is this, and it's not the sheath or anything else, has a rather sulfurous smell to it. It kind of smells like 4th of July, or if you've ever played with cap guns as a kid or something like that. You know, very interesting sulfurous, saltpeterish kind of smell to it. Pretty weird. The next one is also a Mazwan Mokhtar, and hey, I have this one in the box. Why? Because it's absolutely minuscule and doesn't have a sheath. It came with a little tiny bit of a little rubberized sort of thing here, but yeah, very, very tiny little hatchet. This is probably about an inch blade. We got like an inch and a quarter, looks like. G10 handles, and these things are very roughly textured, so keep that in mind. This is 14C28N. On here, it also has another. Oh, come on, focus on there. Yeah, it's also got another maker's mark on there. I have no idea who that is, and it's not attributed on their eBay seller pages or anything like that. So, not quite sure. This one is probably the least practical out of all of them that I have. Okay, TS301. We are going back to Long for this one. And this is interesting. You can see we have a bow drill divot sort of going on this part of the handle. That is titanium. We have the blade, and then orange G10 on the other side. This thing is quite nice and comfortable. Again, this is a factory stonewash. This one's in 14C28N. And yeah, I mean, Wong has just knocked it out of the park again. This thing really feels very locked into your hand when you got it. Just a really nice small fixed blade with a really nice belly going on there. Just the slightest amount of drop, but yeah, I would probably end up considering that to be straight backed. But hey, nice to see the bow drill divot sort of thing there. And also interesting that it's actually implemented into titanium rather than, well, G10 does okay, but I've seen some companies do that out of micarta, and that ends up wearing out pretty quick if that's something that you are into. Alright, the next one that I have here, I have two of them, and they are probably my absolute favorite TwoSun fixed blades so far. And that is these guys. And hey, we don't have a Kydex-ish clamshell sheath. We have super nice burgundy stained leather that they've done some pretty darn good work on here. That hole is designed to actually be there, and it's basically there on both of them. It allows the knife to drain and breathe while it's in there. Now the difference between these two is basically in the handle material. I have this one in bone, and this one is in oxhorn. I have a bit of the bark on that side and just a little bit over there. And man, these things are just fantastically comfortable, especially not using that finger choil, but back up there. Oh, this thing is a delight in the hands. I freaking love these things. They also have some copper liners on here. Or, no. They are brass liners. I do believe they're brass liners. I don't remember exactly. They're either copper or brass, but I think they're brass. Yeah, very, very much love this design here. And let's see. And yeah, we're just a bit shy of 4 inches. We're probably right around there without that sort of thing there. So yeah, just a little under 4 inches. Nice belly on there with a sheep's foot sort of thing. Very utilitarian. These things are fantastic. They do make one other variant, or at least had made one other variant with this that uses the snake wood for the handles, and I would love to get my hands on that one just to have all of those. But yeah, these are fantastic. There we go. There's the maker's mark or name or whatnot. The person goes by Xipo or Xipo or Xihpo, something like that. Just want to actually get that designer's name and everything out there, because these are absolutely phenomenal and they deserve some attention for it. Okay, and the last one that I have currently is this one, the TS310. This one is quite new. It's a night morning design. This one's in 14C28N, and this is a strange compound grind, maybe almost Tonto, sort of, I don't know. But we have hollow grinds on the straights here, and then thicker blade stock up there on the tip. And when you choke up there, you can get 3 fingers on there, but at that point, yeah, you're going to want to be doing the hammer grip, because saber grip, your thumb is going to block basically you trying to get through almost anything with it, unless you're, you know, doing some carving or other very, very small tasks with it. Pretty interesting. And there's also one other that I do have coming that's fairly new. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, or the number for it. I know it's another night morning. It's in M390, and I think it's in the 200s. But that's about as much information as I can really pull out of my head at this particular point. But hooray! We have now made it through all of my locking folders and my fixed blades from TwoSun. I do have some others that I will be going over here in the next video, because, hey, I have some more stuff from them. And it's mostly going to be slip joints. So, alright. This has been fun. So, alright, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. Yo.